All right, welcome back, everyone. I hope you traveled the world, had an excellent long break in that 5 minutes. I used that 5 minutes to have one scoop of cookie dough ice cream with my daughters, who are very happy to have a little bit of space from mom while she does her meeting. And I was really hoping that some of you would like to share how you were defining your success as you enter medical school. And it's totally okay to have something in mind now. It doesn't mean it's always going to be your definition of success, but I really liked what Dr. Okeke was saying about keeping those kinds of things in mind and making sure that you are thinking about the greater good, that you're making your plan for like that day and that week, but with an eye towards your larger goal of what you are doing. So I see, Dr. Keke, that we have something in from Caitlin. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for adding your personal definition and for being the first one. Something that you'll see in OUM classes is when we have faculty presenting or when students are presenting, like we'll often ask questions and then people can respond in the chat window. Sometimes we have people raise hands and provide things verbally and come on camera. So it's just one of the ways that we remind ourselves that we're part of a community, and also that there are different ways that we all like to participate. And some people are participating without the chat window or without raising their hands. Sometimes they're participating by simply being there and listening to others or answering on their own. So there's so many different ways to be a part of our community, and all of them are welcomed by us. So let's look at some of these, Dr. Chi and some of our other attendees here today. So Caitlin says, success for me right now is remembering that this is an opportunity I've wanted for a very long time. It keeps the nervousness down. I like that
I
one.
love that. Love that.
Eleth says, success for me now is being in this moment with all of you, being able to pursue
Oh,
my passion. Oh my gosh, that's such a good
that's
one.
beautiful. That's beautiful.
It's really good. Haynes says, success to me is actually learning the topics I'm studying, not just achieving high grades. You know what? A lot of people, when we are first starting to talk to them, are like, oh, my goal is to be like a high distinction honor roll student. And as they get a little further in, it's like, oh, I don't really care so much about the grades. I'd like to pass.
Hmm.
But my grades don't always reflect what I've learned, because sometimes I'm learning things that aren't necessarily tested. And sometimes I get lucky and sometimes they get unlucky. And it's not truly about my grades. It's about how I'm feeling about my learning, how I'm feeling about the increase in my foundation of knowledge. So that's great that you already have that mindset. Tramble says, I think my success is based on functional understanding of the systems we are studying versus the letter grade of the course. So, and I think it's good to think about like that. That's a really good goal, because it's good to think about like your understanding of those systems is only going to increase. So that's going to be really motivating for you and open up a lot wanting to learn more. You're going to be now, you will not be disappointed any day, because there's always an opportunity to learn more.
Right.
Okay, we got last one from Renee. And if you have one and haven't put it up yet, please go ahead and we'll try to get to them throughout the session. Renee says, understanding and applying analytical skills successfully based on all the information obtained is success for me. That's a really good SMART goal, don't you think, Dr. Chi? It really
I like
takes
it.
in.
Absolutely.
It's really good. And success is also passing for me. Yeah, I like that analytical
Yeah.
style in there, Renee. Oh, let's do cheapos too. Success to me right now means being able to adapt, being resilient and flexible, and being part of the OUM family. Oh, we're so glad you're in the family
Oh,
too.
awesome.
B says, "Oh, I can't stop reading these. They're all so good. Success for me is taking the next step, however small, and chipping away at this big endeavor as it builds up
Mm.
to the bigger picture of the role and an MD." Oh my gosh, B, that makes me think of like a person carving a sculpture.
Yeah.
I'd love if you like thought about what your ultimate sculpture is going to be, or maybe like as you start chipping away, you start to see what your sculpture is. I hope that like in your fourth year B, you come and tell me my sculpture is this. I'll
I
be so
love it.
excited. And M says success for me is being able to achieve and learn new skills, new ways for self-improvement. Definitely a lot of space for that in this degree. All right, shall we go back to our prepared materials, Dr.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure. I love that. That was so
We have
wonderful.
a couple of,
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, that was so good. I was just enjoying all of that and taking that in. Every cohort gives me just fills up my cup with more goodness. And speaking of cohorts, last year's cohort, there was a student who shared that these templates, one of these time management templates, was a way for her to see her week, which I loved. She said,
I
"This is."
remember
You remember that?
that.
And I told her, I
Yeah.
said, "I'm stealing that, and I'm
It
gonna
was
credit
Jess.
you." It was. It was. See, you have a better memory than me. That was great. But she said, this helps me see my week. And I was like, that is so, so good. So these templates are located on that OUM study skills page that you all will gain access to. You don't have to use these templates. We have two sets of templates. One of them actually breaks down activities from waking up in the morning, having breakfast, going to the carpool and the commute, and then sitting down and studying and sleeping. And then one of them actually has classes and study breaks and then exams. So we have these templates on here just so that you can see your week. And if you want to use this template, great. If you want to create your own, that's great too. But we want to set you up for success. And you guys have given us some wonderful definitions for success. But this is just one tool in your arsenal of equipment to get you started on this journey. Did you want to add anything about these templates, Associate Professor McGuire?
It just had me thinking about Renee's goal around analytical.
Yes,
I was like, oh, some people like these types of things really work well
sure.
for them, and having spreadsheets and having things really like laid out is so helpful. So if you're like a very analytical or very visual person, I would highly recommend these. Other people, uh, I was thinking about how I had a student who said they think about their time management. Also, they organize the systems that they learn as a
Mm.
space station. And so they
Oh.
have like the core of their space station, that's their like time management.
Mhm.
And then they have all these branches on their space
Oh,
station for the different systems. And then there are like connecting points.
I love it.
So there's like, you can be creative in terms of how you think about this. Like, if you're not someone that's highly visual or highly analytical, if you like to think about things in more multiple dimensions or things shapes that you can rotate and shift. You can be creative with your how you organize your thoughts around your time management and your planning for exams as well. Dr. Chi and I are using a lot of like
Analogies.
visuals and metaphors and like
Mhm.
so you can tell the type of people we are and what we the types of things we would use. So I encourage you to just be thoughtful about the kinds of things that would work for you. And if you don't know the answer offhand, just give something a try and you'll know whether it works for you or not.
That's right.
I think there's another example here of the second time
Yeah.
management template. What do you want to say about this one?
Yeah, and again, this is just a different. This is a variant of
I like
the
this
other
one.
one. Yeah, that we saw. And again, we wanted to give you all options for how a template could look. This is not a hard and fast rule that you have to stick to, but I hope you're seeing a trend tonight, this morning, wherever you are in the world. At OUM, we're going to give you options, we're going to give you support resources, and we're going to encourage you to tap into your best selves so that you can be successful. And so I think that, again, the theme with these templates is to let you guys know that we understand that this is a lot that's on your plate. We know that this is challenging, and we want to give you some tools or options of tools. Again, I'm going to circle back to Jess's statement, which was to see your week. Sometimes you might need to see your week, you might need to see your month. Sometimes you might need to just see your day and start with the routine that Associate Professor McGuire talked about. But we want to give you some tools to help you do that. And so this is just one example. Again, there are two templates on that OUM Study Skills success page. And Associate Professor McGuire is not giving herself credit. I will give her credit. That page is her brainchild, and it is chock full of resources for you to have suggestions on what worked for other students, articles about medical students globally, what worked for them, so that you don't feel disconnected and alone. Active study strategies. It's here I go again with the food analogy. It is a buffet of study skills. That's my second one, you guys. You're gonna get another one probably tonight. I am a foodie.
I love a buffet. My grandma used to take me to one that was called Furs. Do they have that in Alabama?
No, but we have way too many over here. That's we specialize in buffets. Too many.
Um, yeah, and so I have good memories of that kind of
Of
thing. Yeah, and so I really like this one because I'm someone who likes a to-do list. So if you're
mm,
a to-do list kind of person and you
yeah.
like checking things off, I would say this is a good time management template
Yes.
for you to start with, especially if you feel motivated by like ticking things off your list. But
Mm,
I would say that you um, you have to be careful about what you put in as your activities. Um, so if you're going to choose this one, it's a really good idea to get some of the ideas off of the study skills page
sure.
or put your activities in as the things that you might see in your syllabus for general principles. Talk with your SSA about activities they think that you need to do. Get connected to a study group and ask them the kind of activities like you want to just try to you want to add and prune things from your buffet. Like there's going to be things that you might put on your activity list that nobody is asking for scoops from that. Like it's not actually a high value activity and you've put it in there as like filler, like it's the dinner rolls or something. The thing of dinner rolls everybody wants. But it's not actually a high value activity because
That's
you're going to eat that, but then you're going to be hungry for like
that's
the real food. This one can be really helpful and motivating, but just make sure that you're focused on the right things. Get the good items off the buffet menu.
right. That's right.
There's a couple more in the chat window that I just want us to look at really quickly. Hari said, success for me is the outcome of every puzzle with the intent of changing myself to greater achievement. I like that too.
Like that.
Um, yeah, I like thinking about that, Mahari. Like you, you know, there's those types of puzzles that don't come with a picture. They just come with all the
Mm,
pieces. And as you are putting the puzzle together, that's when you find out what the puzzle is.
yes.
And so I'm really excited to see what that's going to be for you. Michael said, success for me is that I can increase my medical knowledge, that I can help improve the outcomes of patients I
Mm.
work with. Anything you want to say about that one, Dr. Chi?
Well, I mean, it's a patient-centered approach, which we really, really value, and we know here at OUM that when you keep your patients in mind, when you're doing each and every one of your units, your transitions, your assessments, it really does fill up your cup, and it makes you feel not just successful and valuable, but it also makes you feel as if you're in alignment with the mission that we know that you have signed up for and that you're going to uphold as as a medical student here at OUM. So that patient-centered approach, keeping the patients in, I mean, we've all been patients of medicine, and in some way we've been consumers, and you all are in the process of being providers through this journey. But keeping that patient-centered approach, you can never go wrong because you ask yourself, how would I want to be treated? How would I want my loved ones to be treated? And ultimately, would I trust this person with my life? I'll tell you all quickly that when I'm teaching classes and my students have that moment where they really get it, and I'm excited, not because it's something that I gave them, but because they have come to this analysis and critical thinking and come to this moment, then I tell them, I said, you know what? I would come to you. I would bring my family to you, and I would trust my family and my life with this care. That's a moment. And so keeping patients in mind, you can never go wrong.
Yeah, love it. Thanks for that. Mitch said, success for me is knowing and understanding the material without having to second guess. Also being able to babble to random people about the knowledge I've obtained. That is a real fun. I mean, think
I
about
love
how fun
that.
you're going to be at parties, Mitch. And I like that part about second guessing too.
Mm,
You just would not comprehend the number of students that I have to counsel. Like, do not change your answer on your exam. Like,
I
don't go
agree.
back and
I
second
agree.
guess yourself and change your answer. Just leave it. Like, so many times they had it right the first time. Anyhow, I'll get that bugaboo out of my mind for now.
Yeah.
And we'll just look at BJ's for me remaining passionate about the study throughout and enjoying the privilege of returning to study as a 30 something year old. Yeah, any age. I think Norman always said it best about like, you're going to be in your 30s. Either you're going to be in your 30s and 40s and have a medical degree and be a doctor, or you're going to be in your 30s and 40s wishing that you had a medical degree and were a doctor.
Mhm.
So you're going to be in that former category, BJ, and we're really excited for you.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, and there's a third spreadsheet, but I can't remember what that one has. Do you know what it has, Dr. Chi?
I'm not really familiar with this one. Those other two I think I created, but I not this one so much. But we have options here at OUM, so that's great.
Yeah, we'll let you all go to this if you want to, and then you can give us your feedback,
Yeah.
what you think. We'd love to hear like which ones you like or whether you've adapted them, because
Right.
a lot of times, like some of the resources that are available on the study skills and test taking strategies page are things that students have provided, or we've switched it around a little bit based on what students said and how they've used it. So we're always looking for that
Correct.
kind of feedback.
Correct.
All right, this is going back over to you, Dr. Chi, to talk
Good.
a little bit more. We've put a sprinkling in about what
Yeah.
student success advising
Sure.
looks like. So, what would you like to tell our matriculants today about the SSA program?
Sure. Absolutely. I just want to reemphasize uh, things that Dr. McGuire has already said, and just harken back to the fact that we are providing options and resources to set you up for success. And you guys have provided us with wonderful definitions of success. Your student success advisor is just one piece in this, again, arsenal of resources that we have. Now, I want to tell you all that the student success advisor, you guys can read the slide, of course, but I just want to tell you all briefly that the student success advisor is an OUM faculty or staff member, and they are a person who has experienced the medical journey themselves and or been a part of the medical education of medical students. And so they are keenly and acutely aware of the things that you're going through as a new matriculant, the things that you will be experiencing as a returning student, a new student. They're just very familiar with your journey. And so they're there as, again, an accountability partner to accompany you through this. If you would like to request a student success advisor, we have a special email. I'm also going to drop it in the chat box for you. But it's advisor.request@oum.edu.ws. I know that I said that really fast, but I'll put it in the chat box. Don't worry. So when you request a student success advisor, what happens is you get an automatic email, and then you'll get assigned to a student success advisor. Now, we have, again, a number of OUM faculty and staff who work with students to go through that questionnaire that we talked about, or look at the results of the questionnaire that you've already taken, to hear your story and your plan and what you want to get out of the relationship, to learn about their journeys. Some of our student success advisors are currently in their medical education journey, post medical school, post a graduate training. They're in different phases. Some of them are. Some of them are on faculty who are teaching classes. Some of them are a mixture of both. And so we have a breadth of student success advisors really to walk you through some of your concerns and your thoughts, and again, hear you out, be a sounding board. So I just wanted to let you guys know, I won't belabor the point about the SSA program, other than to say to you that, again, this is a resource. Dr. McGuire is over a number of the student support resources. This is just one of the student support resources that is under the umbrella of what we have here to get you on your way and help support and sustain you on your journey. This is an optional program. It's not at any additional cost. I want to emphasize that. This is something that the school provides as an option for you to meet once a week with your student success advisor to check in and have those conversations. And so, again, the SSA program is to help you feel supported, feel connected, your liaison to the university so that we can get you to the right resources. I serve as a student success advisor. I'm not sure exactly what that will look like so much next year at the beginning of the year, because I'll be working in the endocrine unit. However, there are a team of student success advisors who I have the privilege of working with, who you will be in very good hands. So just wanted to share that. And I'm going to tap you into this, Dr. McGuire, because I'm sure there's something I forgot, but do you have other thoughts about student success advising and what I could share with these students here?
No, just get a student success advisor.
I love it. I love it.
There's no there's no additional costs included
Right.
in your credit points cost. There's no specific requirements about when you have to meet with them, other than if you do make an appointment with your SSA that you need to show up or cancel.
Yes.
Um, I think with at least 24 hours notice.
Yes.
But other than that, there's no drawbacks to being enrolled in the program, and it's really can be helpful if you have an emerging issue and you're just not
Yes.
sure kind of what to do or who to go to. SSAs are
Sure.
really helpful for that kind of thing. So just having somebody in your corner, and they're available to you throughout your degree. So we do recommend that students take advantage of the program, but you do not have to if you really
That's
don't
right.
want to. But
That's right.
there's no harm in doing it. So
That's right.
take advantage of all resources that are available.
That's right.
Oh, I like students have as many options as possible.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Um, B had asked earlier, and I wanted to make sure. B had said, "Is the SSA a fellow student?"
Great question. And the answer is it's not a student. It is an OUM faculty or staff member. Now, we do have programs here at OUM, and I'll let Associate Professor McGuire tell you about those programs where we have student peers that function in different capacities. But the SSA is a faculty member or a staff member, or sometimes both. Again, I serve as an SSA as well, but it is not a fellow student. This is, again, someone who has graduated from a postdoctoral program, who has been akin to, gone through, worked with, is currently working with medical education. Great question.
We do have student ambassadors who are students that are there to support you as you begin your degree, to answer your questions like from a student perspective, and just help you get oriented. But those are not a one-to-one support provided to you, but you're welcome to reach out to them as peers as you get started in this phase of your journey. Tramble wanted to know, can the SSA be regionally similar as well as specialty interests? So like, for example, if someone has an interest in emergency medicine, can they have an SSA that's an emerge doctor?
That is a great question. We try our best to connect people regionally and with their interests. Sometimes it's not always possible. Sometimes the demand doesn't allow us to necessarily do that at that moment. So students do have the option of changing SSAs once you get assigned to an SSA. Sometimes time zone differences don't allow students to necessarily mesh so well with the SSA assignment so that we can reassign people. But we can't guarantee and promise that we can put people regionally and with specialties. We try our best. But again, you're not stuck with the SSA that we assign you to, but we'd like you to give it a try. Sometimes you can find out some um, interesting combinations of people who are merged together because they have different perspectives. But we do try our best, and if that is a preference, we'll try to meet that. Can't
Yeah.
guarantee it, but we will definitely try.
Thanks, Dr. G.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, was there anything else you wanted to say about SSAs?
No, I hope that people take advantage of the program, but again, it's optional. If you and if you don't want to do an SSA sign up right now at this moment, you have time. Don't worry, you have time. You can sign up really at any point in your medical education program. We just want to give you options. Remember that buffet? This is my third food reference, but it's harkening back to that buffet, but we want to give you some options. It's there for you, okay? But you don't have to do it right now. So thank you so much, Professor McGuire.
Yeah, and the light plate costs the same as the three
It
choices.
sure does. You pay one flat fee. That's right. That is
Okay.
right.
Anyhow, all right. Let's talk a little bit about getting the most out of class and study groups. So when you start General Principles, you'll have access to a number of different resources. So the first is that you will have access to topic lectures. And all of your topic lectures are available via recording, and they're available to you the weekend before each week starts. So, for example, if General Principles starts on Monday the 12th, the topic lectures for that week are available on the 8th or 9th. So you get access to the set of all the topic lectures, and that can be really helpful because a lot of people like to have a view and some active study time with those recorded lectures over the weekend as they get prepared for live classes coming up the following week. So the great thing about the topic lectures is that all of the topic lectures are linked to a set of TLOs, those topic learning objectives, which you will have heard me speak about earlier in this session when I was talking about how each question in your graded exams will be linked to a specific TLO. So all of your classes have sets of topic learning objectives that are linked to examination questions and are linked to the broader learning objectives that you need for the class and for the requirements of your degree. So we really try to make it modular so that you know exactly what you need to know when you need to know it, and also you'll be able to link that information together. So for example, when you learn about RAS, the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, you get a sprinkling of that in the cardiovascular system, but then when you get into urinary, start talking about how the kidneys are part of the regulation of blood pressure, and then you'll see that again in endocrine when you talk about how the juxtaglomerular apparatus releases renin and so on and so forth. So your topic lectures help you to know what you need to know, where you need to focus your time and attention, and how to link things across your system. So as Dr. Chi was saying, that you have to be drinking from a fire hydrant or from a fire hose, depending on, what area of the world that you are in. One of the ways that you do that is being able to break them into these modules to know what you need to know, what is the important information and what is not. And you can do that by focusing on your TLOs, your topic learning objectives. And the anchor point for all of your TLOs are in those topic lectures. So those topic lectures are recorded. They become available at the beginning of each week. They're available to you throughout that entire course. You get also get access to Word documents that have the slide decks, and we'll have like little notes pages for if you like to have written notes. You also have PowerPoints if you like to pull the figures and reorganize them, shuffle them around. Some people like to decorate their walls. Some people put them under their pillow at night. You do you. But you have different access to reading or different access to resources within those recorded topic lectures, which are available in SCORM packages at the beginning of each week. Each of the topic lectures also has a reading assignment component to it. So it's usually a portion of a chapter, or sometimes it's an entire chapter in one of the textbooks. So all of your textbooks are available in the OUM's library, which includes the resource Clinical Key and the resource Clinical Key Student. So I would say 90% of OUM students are accessing their textbooks, their assigned readings, through Clinical Key Student. I would say 9% are using Clinical Key, and maybe half to 1%, in addition to those, purchase physical textbooks, in addition to having Clinical Key. We don't recommend or say that you have to purchase any textbooks, because everything that is assigned to you is going to be available in Clinical Key. Some people just like to have physical books, and that's fine. That's an option that's available to you. Clinical Key also has some amazing resources for interacting with those readings and for organizing them and keeping your active study in them as part of your learning. And we'll demonstrate those in our next session this week, in order for you to kind of keep that material together with your topic lectures, to focus your time in the reading. Because the one thing that you do not want to do is go into Clinical Key and start reading your textbook and be 4 paragraphs down Guyton and Hall, chapter 70, Introduction to Endocrinology, and be like, I have no idea about anything that I've just read. Like, I was off on a deserted island for the last 10 minutes. So you want to go back to what Dr. Chi was saying about being efficient and effective in your time that you are reading. And so we provide some resources that help you do that. The one thing that you also want to do, in addition to making sure you're spending adequate time in your topic lectures and active study time reading your textbooks, is that you're going to class live. So class is offered twice a day. It's offered Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time. So that ends up, if you're in the US Eastern time zone, being around 5 or 6 in the morning, or around 8 o'clock at night are your 2 time choices. And if you're in Brisbane, that ends up being about 10 o'clock in the morning-ish, or 8 p.m. At night. So there's some different options for when you can attend a class. Do you attend both classes? No, you do not. It will not be worth your time to attend both sittings of the same class, because it's just the material repeated. You're not going to get any additional value out of just sitting through the same discussions again. So all of the classes at this point are recorded, so you can always go back into your class that you've attended and pull some of the information for later use. And you can, if you end up missing a class, you can also have access to the recording. At least for the time being, we still make recordings available. You want to make sure that you're making good use of office hours. If your professor is available, go and take their time. Sometimes I'll say I'll see notes from students like, I'm really sorry, but I needed to book this time with you at 6:30, and I hope you're okay to discuss XYZ. And I was like, I put 6 to 6:30 in my calendar specifically because I was ready and available to meet with you if you have any questions. So never ever be upset or feel like you need to apologize for taking the time that I've specifically devoted for students. And by the way, I actually do keep office hours daily from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. North America Eastern Time. And any of you are welcome to book those office hours at any time if you want to discuss anything that we've talked about today, or as you're going through general principles or any of your other systems. If you need assistance, you're always welcome to book my office hours as well, but definitely do take advantage of the office hours of your class professor. And then the last one is study group. So we try to do a lot of sessions in the pre-orientation time, which is now, as well as during O week, our orientation week, and the beginning of general principles, to make sure that you have opportunities to connect in with each other. And the reason for that is we really do want you to form study groups. And as I said earlier, some people are more introverted and some people are more extroverted. And I would say if you're more introverted, you still want to be in a study group, but you just want to be in a study group with maybe some more introverted people. But it really does make a difference if you're able to have a regular group of individuals that you can connect in with. We do have study sessions that we run in advance of examinations, where the whole class of students are invited to be a part of the study group, but there just isn't a replacement for having like a core of like, even just if you have one person, but up to like, I would say up to 5 or even 6 people as part of your study group. Probably the most common grouping is about 2 or 3 or 4 students, but you can have more or less depending on your personal preference. I would say that you want to have people in your study group that study differently than you, that think differently from you, that have different experiences from you, because you'll have a more rich experience that way. And also you'll be able to have access to things you wouldn't typically think about if you end up in a study group with people who think differently from you. So maybe you want to have, a friend group that's different from your study group, and that's fine too. But definitely take advantage of connecting in with other students and do so regularly. Dr. Chi, what do you want to add to any of these about getting the most out of class and study groups?
Yeah, I think you've explained it very, very well. And I was just thinking about study groups being heterogeneous, which you talked about them having a different mixture of learners and study styles. But I also want to encourage everyone in your study group to teach as much as you learn. If you are coming to a study group and you are quiet, there's nothing wrong with being introverted, but quiet meaning you're not contributing at all, or if you are doing all of the teaching and all the talking, then that is not the ideal study group. I think that your study group experience should be as heterogeneous as the members who make it up, meaning, again, a mixture of teaching in your study group and learning. For example, in previous cohorts, they've explained to me, and they, meaning the students, have shared with me that they will have an assignment for each of the students to bring in 5 practice questions that they made up, that they share and explain to each person. So if there's a study group of 4 people, then by the time that they finish the study session, they've gone over 20 questions because each person brought 5 questions to the table that they had to explain, give the rationale, give the STEM, and that is a rich learning experience where people are contributing and receiving. Those are just some of my thoughts about study groups.
Yeah, be accountable.
Yes,
Be
very good.
accountable to yourself and to your study group members.
Very good.
And I think it's really important to, have an expectation for your study group, and, to not be exclusionary, but to set some expectations for what
That's
you
right.
would like. Yeah. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, the proposed weekly schedule for the pre-clinical
Ooh.
year. Miss Shanda, do you want to talk about this one? Or do you want me to?
Oh, sorry, I was here somewhere. So everyone's seen this many times, I'm sure, and everyone's filled one of these in. So yeah, we just want you to fit in as much time as you can for your studies. Our recommended guide that we've put out is between 40 to 57 hours of study. That includes your normal study, revision study,
Mhm.
exams, classes, etc. So yeah, just try your best to fit in as much study as you can, but also have a work-life balance, and time for family, etc. And yeah, see how you go. Try not to dedicate too much of your time to work, though. Really important.
The thing that stands out to me in this is also the purple sleep.
Yes.
To not forget that sleep is very important,
Okay.
and that you actually have to now schedule sleep into your day, and
Mhm.
an adequate amount of sleep. So thank you for that. All right. Getting the most from your support system. So Dr. Chi mentioned that the SSA program is one of a broader suite of support programs that we have at the university. So at the university, we also have peer supporters that are trained OUM students that are there to support you for mental health and well-being needs. So you can reach out to peer support at any time and receive confidential and non-judgmental support. They are not psychiatrists, they are not mental health workers, they're simply peers that are there to listen and to provide a supportive ear. We encourage you all as a cohort to be peers for each other and supportive of each other. That doesn't mean that you're going to do somebody else's work for them. That doesn't mean that if someone's not showing up or being accountable or following the student code of conduct, that you're going to let them walk all over you and your goals for success, but it does mean that you are there to support each other in how you each individually define success and how you define success as a cohort. You're there to keep each other accountable to those goals and accountable to the eventual profession. So I want you all to become familiar with the student code of conduct and the expectations that we have for our students at OUM, which you can find in the student handbook, that you may have a copy from your time in admissions, and now you can access it. If you've paid your fees, you can access it from Moodle as well. You'll also get a copy during a week, but it's really important that you know the student code of conduct and are following it, and also you are keeping others accountable to that standard. We have our student ambassadors, which I mentioned a bit earlier, that are also OUM student volunteers that are there to support you that as you transition into this phase of your medical student journey. So they're mostly there for you as you enter this period of matriculation, as you go into orientation and into general principles. If you have questions about how to get in touch with like the student WhatsApp groups, or like, where do I go and like get my scrubs, or who do I talk to about this, or how do I get involved in the OUM Student Association, or, how do I form a study group? All those kinds of questions about what it's like being a student, and things to kind of get you into that mind space and integrated into the community, especially if you haven't had a chance to connect with anybody in your cohort yet. You can reach out to the student ambassadors. It's studentambassadors@oum.edu.ws. You might think that like Dr. Chi and I are the only faculty who are here to support you and get so excited when we hear about the things that you define your success. But as you get acquainted and become part of the OUM community and get to know some of the other faculty as well, I think that you will find that each and every one of our faculty members is also going to be a part of your support system. Does that mean that we're all rah and cheerleading and like pushing you across the finish line in each course? No. But does that mean that we are here to support your success, that we are here to treat you with respect and confidentiality when you have an issue? Does that mean that we are here to support you when you're not performing to our academic standard or to your academic standard? Absolutely. So we are here as faculty because we care about the goals of our students. And specifically, we're here because we care about the goals of OUM students and the types of students that we serve, which are this group. And honestly, every time that we get a new cohort, we're like, oh my gosh, this cohort is amazing.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
really like makes it worthwhile for us
Yes.
as educators to see you expand your knowledge, to grow as a person, to change in terms of how you approach or think about things. And we're really here to support, not just to bask in the glow of seeing that, but to support you to do that.
Right.
Your student success advisors are here to be part of your support system to help you manage as you start your degree, as you get into your medical sciences systems, as you go through clinical transition units, as you start your clinical rotations, as you start to think about your licensure exams. So advisors are a really important part, if you choose to have them, of your overall support system at the university. Start to treat your family and friends as your supporters now. Either they're supporting you because this is part of your personality now. This is part of who you are. It's not like you can go to a job and then clock out at the end of the day. Being a medical student is a facet of your personality now. So either you have family and friends that are willing to support you through that and that see your potential and want to support your goals and your success, or they are family and friends that are willing to see you glow from afar, and maybe will catch you on the flip side when you have more time, for people like that. And that's fine. It, again, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them or anything wrong with you. And there'll be some friends and family members who you might become more close with as you go through this. So be open to those types of opportunities, and be recognizing that as you move into your and across your degree, and moving up to that time where you walk across the stage and accept your degree, these are the people that are going to be there to help you along, to provide, to nail down the steps, to put the graduation gowns on you, to provide the leis as you put on your graduation regalia. They're not there, they can't do it for you, but they are there to provide the things that make this experience worthwhile and to make it a good experience for you. So don't feel like you are totally alone. Nobody is an island. You just sometimes have to reach out, raise your hand, and say you need support. You are all really strong individuals. That's how you got here in the first place. And so maybe you have a hard time asking for help and have a lot of pride in being able to do things on your own, but start to have pride in being part of a community, and to have pride in being able to recognize when you are needing help and to reach out for it, and be an example to others, for them to put up their hands and to reach out for support. Dr. Chi, what would you like to say about this?
I love that. I love what you just said because I think, Associate Professor McGuire, it's important for people to know it's okay to ask for help. And there's so many different people that can provide different pieces of that help. One thing that we do very well here at OUM, we have a number of things that we really shine in. But one of the things that I was thinking about as you were talking about these different facets of support is a multidisciplinary team in healthcare, just like this picture is
Yeah.
showing. And everyone has a different role on a multidisciplinary team. And akin to that analogy is the support system. Everyone has a different role to play here, and everyone's role has a different significance. And so there's nothing wrong with asking for help. There's nothing wrong with saying, I don't even know where to go to ask for help. I don't know what it is I need, but just making your voice heard. Just know that you're seen here at OUM. You're seen and heard. So just utilizing your advice of making sure that you ask for help and support. There's someone on this team to help provide that. And so I thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And I will say that um, at least twice a week, I'll just get an email that just says, I need help
Yeah.
from a student. And I just want to encourage you that,
Yeah.
like, even if you can't like fully verbalize or understand or like get to the root of whatever it is,
Say
or you
something.
don't know where to go, I I will let you know that other students are in the exact same situation. All they need to do is just say to me, email me something that says I need help. Or even I've gotten before, the subject line just says help, and there's
Help.
nothing in the email.
Yep. Help.
And I will help you.
Yeah.
I will help you. I will never make you feel bad about asking for help. I will never disclose anything anywhere that you don't want it disclosed. I am here to support you through your medical student journey. I only just ask that if you have some inkling somewhere that you need some help, to reach out and ask
That's
for
right.
it, because I have many powers. I have many things that I can do, but extrasensory perception, is that what ESP is? I do not have that, so I don't always know. Sometimes if I get to know people, I'll send them a check and be like, hey, I'm just checking in, and then I will get something back that that student is needing help but has not reached out to me. But that'll take a few times of you actually getting in touch with me first. So please do that. We are here to support you.
Beautiful.
All right, getting the most from online learning. I don't want to go into all of these in too much detail, other than to say that some people will ask, like, oh, what can I do to like get started like before orientation? So I was thinking about that today, because it's something that people always ask. So what I would say is, if you don't know how to use Zoom or Moodle, then go and like quickly do the tutorials in them, because that's going to be a big part of your process. We do have tutorials in orientation, but it just might make your life easier if you have a quick look at tutorials for Zoom and Moodle if you've never used those before. And then the other thing that I would say is, if you have paid your matriculation fees and purchased your credits, you have access to Clinical Key. So there's 2 books that I would recommend that you go and look at. The first is called Success in Medical School. It's linked on the study skills for students, or study skills and test taking strategies page. It's also linked on the orientation page, but you might as well have a look at it now. They're really short chapters, and it's a good read. And the second one is maybe just like dabble around in Guyton and Hall medical physiology, and maybe just dabble around in complete anatomy, just so you start to see kind of how things like look, the way like terminology is used, like just play around with some of the anatomy and the complete anatomy, just to play, just to see. Don't hold yourself to anything. Those are the activities that I would recommend that you do before you start general principles. And Dr. T, would you add anything to that?
I think those are great recommendations. I wanted to just look at complete anatomy for a second and just say that it's almost like a video game, which Mario Brothers and Sega Genesis and X-Men back in the day, I was somewhat okay in those. But for complete anatomy, it's almost like a video game, moving the different levels of tissue, seeing the skeleton, seeing the muscles, seeing the different organ systems. I think it's fascinating. It's a 3D way of looking at anatomy. You can get a lot of medical terminology out of that. I think that's a great place to start. We don't want to burden you down with too much before you start, but I think that's a great place to start. So I approve your recommendations.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I love completing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, in prep for our next session coming up in a couple of days, we will be doing some mock active study sessions, and we're also going to be doing a mock SSA session. So we hope that you'll join us in getting a chance to practice some active study skills. And this is one of the things that we're going to be doing. So if you're someone who likes to kind of know what they're doing before we get into the doing of the things, I thought I would just provide this first and give you like just an idea of what we're going to be doing. One of the activities that we're going to be doing in our next session, and we actually have some examples to work through, and we're also going to be taking a look in Clinical Key and showing you some active study strategies in how to use the textbooks there. But that one is more of a demonstration, whereas this one is something we're actually going to be doing together. So if you like to feel prepared, this is one of the activities that we'll be doing in our next session. All right. Dr. Chi and I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. I forget now whose definition of success was being in this moment. If you that was you, I apologize that I forget who it was, but I've just really appreciated sharing this moment, this time with each and every one of you. I'm really excited for this cohort and getting to know each of you as individuals, as study groups, and as a cohort, and being able to support you on this fantastical voyage, this fantastic journey. So Fafa Tai for joining us for Study Skills for Student Success Session 1, and we look forward to seeing you again in a couple of days. Dr. Chi, over to you. Anything to add?
No, thank you so much. I feel very privileged to just sit here and take in all of this positive energy. So thank you, Shanda and Associate Professor McGuire and the new cohort. Thank you. Thank you
So much. And thank you so much to Shanda and Camille, our fantastic admissions counselors, for getting our cohort to this point and for being with us here this evening. We really appreciate you and everything that you do to making OUM the community that it is. And thanks to each one of you for being new additions to our wonderful and diverse community. Looking forward to seeing you all again in a couple of days. Bye for now.